Welcome back, everyone. This peach tree is so loaded that the branches are just about ready to break. I have supported some other ones with some these are 2x2s. What I do is I cut a little notch in here, like a little V or half round circle, and I put them under here to support the branches, because if I don't, these bad boys are going to snap. There. This way the weight will bear on the 2x2s. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that really need it. The other ones aren't too bad, that one and this one, but this one's straight up, so it doesn't really matter. We had some crazy weather the other day come through here, one after another, about less than an hour apart, like 2 fronts come through. And it got pretty nasty here. I mean, this video doesn't do it any justice, but it was pretty bad. And these trees here got whipped around pretty bad. And there was fruit all over the ground here, but most of it was the fruit that was rotten and not doing well, or not very good. And we picked all those up, or my wife did actually. We gave those to the chickens, and they enjoyed them at least. But we have plenty on here yet, and these are the good ones, but they're still a little on the tough side. So I'm hoping next week we can start picking some. But this peach tree is doing really good. We have also a apple tree here. So this is our Anna's apple tree, and you know, some of these they're starting to get some rot on them, like this on the bottom. But this part here, still good. So we just cut that all out and we eat them fresh. If they're really bad, we just give them to the chickens. But I'm noticing that happening to a lot of our fruit. It's starting to, see if I can get that focused in there. It's starting to get rot, basically. I'm not sure if that's a nutritional deficiency or what's going on, but it is happening to a lot of our fruit that's ripening. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but we have eaten a few, and delicious, very tart and very delicious. This year they're a little smaller than normal compared to last year. Last year I just got a few. This year the tree's loaded, but I got too many branches. I didn't prune it right, and the branches are too long, and they're just drooping down like that because of the weight. So I got to do a lot of pruning and shortening of those branches, shortening them up so they can support the weight of the apples. But other than that, it's doing pretty good. We got a lot of fruit this year. I can't complain. My tomato plants here, I went with a different variety this year. This one here is called the Maxwell's Big Italian Tomatoes. They seem to be growing upright more, whereas my other variety here are more bushy. These haven't produced any tomatoes. They got a lot of flowers yet on them, but they haven't produced any tomato. Oh yeah, they have a little tomato here. This variety didn't do too well after I transplanted them. I'm assuming a third of them died after I transplanted them. So they seem very delicate. This other variety here I have, it's called Costolute Genovese. It's an Italian variety, of course, and they seem to be more bushy and viney. Probably indeterminate. I think these are also indeterminate. They just grow a little slower. They are doing really good, my Costolute. They have tomatoes on there, and nowhere near being ripe yet, of course, but they're on their way and they're doing pretty good. So these are my Italian cucuzzas, they're called. They are an Italian squash gourd, more of a gourd than anything else. Really good when you make like a stew. I got a recipe for that. I'm going to put that right up here. Make like a stew out of it. Or you can just simply take the skin off of these, chop it up into chunks and boil it. After it's boiled, 10-15 minutes basically, get a soup bowl, take the chunks, cooked chunks into a bowl, put the broth in there that you cooked it with, little olive oil, salt and pepper, and that's it. That's the poor man's food, and it's delicious. That's the way they used to eat. A lot of the food, the great foods that came from Italy were the poor that made them up. So they used the garlic and the olive oil and the oregano and the basil and all that stuff, and it just tastes absolutely fantastic, and it used to be poor people's food. Imagine that. And they were all in good shape, and they weren't fat. Yep, nowadays we're so spoiled with refined carbohydrates and junk, and it's killing us. Anyways, let me show you here the different. Now this flowers, of course. I'm going to tell you the difference between the male and female flower. This here is the male flower. You can see it just has a stem and a flower. Now I'm going to show you another one here. This is the female flower. It has a stem, and it looks like a little of a bulge on there. It's got a little bulge, and then the flower. That's the squash right there. That's the gourd. That's the female. So let me show you how to pollinate them. It's very simple. Normally these get pollinated in the evening. Okay, in the evening these flowers open up, and they get pollinated with a moth. A moth will come by and pollinate these things. They get attracted to them, and that's how they get pollinated. But you can do it yourself, and let me show you how. Okay guys, what you want to do first is grab the male flower. Remember, that's the one with the stem and the flower. You can just pluck that right off. Okay, now let me get this focused better. Now what you want to do is pull away the white petals. And it sits inside of this cup, basically. Anyways, you want it to look like this when you're done. Okay? Then you get the female flower. Let me show you that. Now here is the female cucuzza, the flower. Now hang on to that one the male flower, just hang on to that one. And you take the petals off, the flower petals off the female, and that exposes the inside. I forgot what they're called, but you don't have to know what they're called to pollinate them. You get the male flower. This is the female cucuzza here, with all its sexual organs exposed. Nothing to censor here though. And you just touch it. You just rub the male flower all around it like this. Be careful not to break it. And now this here is pollinated, and it will produce a nice cucuzza for us. Now honestly guys, you don't really have to take the petals off the female flowers. You can just push them aside basically and get the male and put it inside there and touch it. And that's it. You could probably use this for two or three female flowers. So in fact, but the thing is not to take the flowers off the plant that you're pollinating with. It'll still work, but I guess they just don't like inbreeding. So find another plant that's got a male flower and use that one. And on this one I don't actually see one that's ready yet. Ah, here's one. I got another male flower here. This one's really good. And then just open up the female flower. It's right here. And touch it inside. And it gets pollinated. Man, my prickly pears here are doing really good. The 3 prickly pears that I showed in another video about the flowers and stuff, that I was going to use those. I was going to pollinate these with another variety of cactus that I have. But I was waiting for these flowers to open up, and I mean, the flowers came out, but they never opened up. Next thing I knew, they shriveled up. I thought, well, they didn't get pollinated, and I thought they were just going to shrivel up and die. But apparently they did somehow. Maybe they open up at night or something. I don't know about this variety. But these are growing. I can't wait to taste them this summer. I don't know how long it's going to take, but they are growing pretty good. And I'm hoping to get more this year. Okay, this is my corn. These are a heirloom variety called Stowells. They've been around. They were first introduced into the market in the 1850s, I think it was. And they were around pre-1849 from what I've read. I wanted to try them out. The only thing I'm seeing we're having trouble here is the stalks here are too thin. And we had a windstorm. We had a big storm the other day, and it knocked a lot of them over. Now, this could have happened also with regular corn because it did get pretty windy. But I am noticing that they are thinner than the corn I've grown in the past. They do have ears of corn on them. This one's got 2. That one's got 2. So they average about 2. I hope they got pollinated. I don't know. I mean, like I said, a lot of them fell over, and I don't have enough stakes to stake them up, or I would. But we'll see what happens here. That's all part of gardening, you know. I mean, we can't control the weather. Well, we can't anyways. Other people can. And that's what happens when they control the weather, I guess, right? So these are my Mourvedre grapes. These are a wine grape, and I did a video on this where I tasted them, and the seeds and the skin are very bitter, but the juice is fantastic. It's really good. We decided to keep them for the juice, but now I'm really starting to reconsider that. I may pull them out this year or at the end of this year and plant something else next year, because they are very, very susceptible to black rot. You can see my grapes here. I've lost many clusters already. And it's just a fungus that attacks the grapes and the leaves, but mostly the grapes, and just shrivels them up into hard as a brick raisins. And there's nothing you can do about it other than keep spraying antifungal on there, which I have been doing. I've been spraying copper on here like crazy. And since it just rained, I have to do it again now. This variety grows better in the semi-arid, like desert, not desert, but you know, drier climates. Not the humidity we have here in East Texas is pretty bad. These might grow well in East Texas, or even more in the West Texas, more in the west, northwest, where it's a little drier. But here in East Texas, it's just too humid, and I don't think this variety is going to do well here, so I may end up pulling it out. It's a shame too, you know. I think this is the 5th year now on them, and I mean, the plant itself looks great, but once all the rains come here in the springtime, and the humidity goes up and the heat starts, they just can't handle it, and the fungus just attacks them, and I'm losing lots and lots of clusters here. Now my Concord grapes are doing better. The black rot hasn't bothered them too bad. I see a little bit of it here and there, but it's not that bad. I've been spraying them with copper also, and it's helped. So this one's got a few clusters on there. This one over here has got a lot more on there, as you can see. It's doing pretty good also. So the third trellis here are my Alwoods grapes. Now these Alwoods are supposed to be very similar to the Concord, but they're supposed to be a little bigger grape. This is this, I planted these spring of last year, 2023, right? And I had 3 of them die, 3 plants die. So I just replaced them this year with 3 more, and those are doing really well. But you can see here, I got some grapes here on them. So just enough this year so I can taste them. And I tasted one last year from one of them that died during the winter, but before it died, it had like 3 little grapes, and they were delicious. They were really, really good. So this year I'll be able to taste a couple of clusters here on this plant anyways. I may have some on that one more over there. But yeah, out of the 5, 3 of them died, and I replaced those, and they're doing really, really good. So this is my nectarine tree here and over there. I love nectarines. In fact, I like them almost better than peaches because they don't have the fuzz on them. And I planted 1, 2, and I have another one over on the near the front of my orchard. Same thing happened to all 3. These nectarines do not like wet feet. In other words, we've had so much rain in the last few weeks, I mean a ton of rain, that they get root rot. The roots start to rot, and obviously the roots can't feed the plant anymore. The leaves turn yellow and they kind of go limp, and they start falling off, and all the fruit that it produced shrivels up, and you can say bye-bye to your tree. So it happened to this one. It's happening to that one over there. And the one near the front of my property, it might make it. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't look that great either. So here I had a bed of Florida Market eggplants. I love that variety because the plant itself is very sturdy, and it'll support a few fruits by itself without any extra support. Other than that, you may just have to put a stake next to it and kind of tie a string around it just to kind of support the plant, but it's a very sturdy plant. The eggplants they look like the Black Beauties, maybe a little longer, but really good, delicious. And I had 14 I had in here, and there were seedlings when I put them in here. They were a little small yet though, but that might have had something to do with it too. But anyways, I had 14 in here, and out of those 14, I lost every one. Seemed like every other day I was losing one, and they just all died. I was a little upset, just a little bit. I replanted seed, direct sow in here, because I figured it was warm enough now. Nothing. I don't know if I had bad seeds or if the seeds were old. They were a couple years old, but I didn't think a couple years would do it, but maybe it did. Anyways, none of them survived. That bed here, this other bed, I planted some seeds that a subscriber of mine gave me 2 or 3 years ago. But I collected seeds from last year. Anyways, I planted 14 also in here. Again, seedlings. And out of the 14, I only have 3, maybe 4, and the 4th one doesn't look like it's doing too well. So 3 for sure on that bed. The Rosa Bianca, those were Sicilian eggplants. The seeds originally came from Sicily, and that's why I love to plant those, because I do like the Rosa Bianca eggplants. But like I said, I have only 3 now. For some reason this year, it just not good at all. Pepper wise, I also planted some peppers on another bed. They were the giant Marconis. I love those. If you grill those, even if you cut those in half and put them in like a toaster oven and grill them, the skin will peel off real nice. And they were absolutely delicious, or grilled also. But anyways, here I have California Wonders, your typical red, yellow, and green peppers that you see at the store. Most of those, out of the 14, I lost maybe 2 or 3 plants. Those, I love cutting those up like sliced, like a fajita, you know, type slice. You slice them up longwise, and with some onions also. Saute those up, sprinkle it with some olive oil. Sprinkle some fajita seasoning in there, which we make homemade ourselves. Never buy that store-bought fajita seasoning because it's got MSG in there. They just rename it, call it something else. But it's nasty stuff. Don't even go down that road. Use natural stuff. It's better for you. But anyways, that's very delicious, and you add that to your meals as a side. Oh man, I'm telling you, man, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But anyways, that's what's been going on here. That's the bad news. I'm just very grateful. I thank God that we have lots of peaches, and we didn't lose them in that storm that we had. Not all of them. Anyway, we just lost a lot of the bad ones, got shaken off. We're going to have apples. We're going to have lots of plums. This one has a few plums. We're going to have corn this year, hopefully. You know, a lot of them, you know, they fell over, but I'm hoping that those corns got pollinated. I might get the tassels and just start rubbing them all over the corn silks, and maybe try that, and if they'll pollinate that way. And zucchinis here. Zucchinis, we have, they're doing super good. The same thing with those, boy. Oh man, eggplants and zucchinis. Slice them up, throw those on the grill, brush some olive oil on there, a little bit of salt, and oh man, I'm telling you, it's so good, so good. So we're going to have a good abundance of zucchinis. We got yellow summer squash also that I absolutely love. Cook same way on the grill, or you can cut those up like the kugutsas and make like a stew out of them with onions and garlic and some olive oil and tomatoes, and just cook it down into a stew. Ooh, it's really good. And our cucumbers are doing good, and looks like we'll have tomatoes. We're going to have kugutsas. We'll have some corn, cucumbers, zucchinis. We'll have plenty. We'll have some eggplants and some peppers. It looks like this year. I'm grateful for that. I hate going to the store and buying vegetables because we just don't know where it came from. We don't know what they sprayed on them. You're trying to wash them off, but you got to remember that soil that they grow them in is saturated with whatever they're spraying them with, and it gets absorbed into the vegetable. But you can only do so much, you know. Try to grow your own vegetables as much as you can. It's never going to be, I mean, it's not always a good year for vegetables, unfortunately. But I guess that's just the way it goes. All right, guys. I don't want to depress you guys anymore with my bad luck here with my garden. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.